Good afternoon and thank you for joining us this Tuesday. Here are the top stories we're following for you now at noon. After a similar law passed in Tennessee, lawmakers here in Arkansas are considering a new drunk driving bill. We'll have what it looks like and when it might be heard. Plus,
police in New Mexico are investigating a series of shootings targeting local Democratic officials. I'm Skyler Henry with a look at the Republican candidate officials say was behind it all.
And protests broke out in Memphis after a man died following a traffic stop. Later, the investigation underway and the family's pleas with the state. But many return to school and work today, and just stepping outside, you can feel it. Meteorologist Nathan Scott, it's warm and humid. Are we going to have to pay for this soon?
Well, welcome back, Jurnee, and good afternoon to you. Yeah, it does not feel like January out there once again. Temperatures are warming up. We only dropped down into the upper 50s, low 60s across a large part of the state. Cold front made its way just to the north of Little Rock, so temperatures did dip down into the 40s in Clinton and Batesville, but now those numbers are rising back up. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds out there today. Get outside and enjoy it. No weather concerns today. Highs upper 60s to lower 70s. Tomorrow, though, a different story. A strong cold front's going to be making its way in here from the west. We'll have warm, humid air in place. Along with that, some wind energy. So we do have a 2 out of 5 risk when we take a look at the severe weather chances, primarily in East Arkansas, Southeast Arkansas, and looks like South Central Arkansas as early as middle part of Wednesday morning, continuing through the afternoon. That chance is a little bit lower here in Little Rock, but it's still there. I'll let you know what the main threats are with this severe weather potential and also walk you through hour by hour on what the radar could look like coming up.
In a THV 11 update, a bill is moving along at the state capitol that would make drunk drivers pay child support for their victims' surviving children. It's called Bentley's Law. Saline County Representative R.J. Hawk introduced the bill last week, and it's already on the House Judiciary Committee's agenda. When Tennessee passed its version of the law, named Ethan's, Haley's, and Bentley's Law, it inspired the Arkansas legislator to bring it here.
It only makes sense. It's a hardship on the child by losing a parent for no reason, no reason of their own. It wasn't God's will. It wasn't anything. It was somebody that made a reckless decision to either drive or boat, and they killed somebody.
While originally planned for a reading tomorrow, Hawk says the holiday weekend will likely push it back. He's hoping it will be read by the House Judiciary Committee by Thursday. Benton police have now identified a suspect in vehicle involved in a hit and run that killed a 13-year-old. They're not yet releasing that information, but we do know they initially reported the teen had been hit by a black Nissan Pathfinder. The collision happened early Sunday morning along the I-30 service road between Alcoa and Congo Road exits. The family of an Arkansas inmate who died by starvation has filed a federal lawsuit regarding his death. Larry Eugene Price Jr., who was arrested for terroristic threatening, had lost more than 60 pounds from August 2020 to August 2021 when he was found dead. His family blames the Sebastian County Jail where he was held in custody for allowing Price to starve to death.
He was ignored to death. I mean, the staff knew that he was losing weight. They knew he was severely ill, that he couldn't take care of himself. They had a constitutional duty, let alone a moral duty, to not let him just suffer.
Now, the Sebastian County Sheriff denies this, saying jailers checked on Price.
Let me make one point clear. The jail staff gave this inmate plenty of food and water every day. The jail medical staff were in regular contact with him. The autopsy said the inmate died with COVID. All of us want to know more about what other factors may have led to this tragic death.
The county's judge says an internal review is underway. In Memphis, Tennessee, a memorial is set to take place today after the death of a 29-year-old man who died following a traffic stop. Protests broke out yesterday over the death of Tyree Nichols. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has launched a use of force investigation, and the family is demanding police body cam video be released immediately. CBS's Elise Preston reports.
I am a man. Tyree was a man. Tonight, demands for answers in the in-police custody death of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols are growing louder.
This man should be with his family.
Nichols died January 10th, 3 days after his family believes he was beaten by police during a traffic stop. Memphis police are releasing few details, but they say that on the night of January 7th, officers attempted to pull a car over, which led to 2 confrontations. The second after the driver tried to flee. Once under arrest, police said the suspect complained of shortness of breath and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. The initial statement did not indicate force was used. This photo provided by Nichols' stepfather shows Tyree in his hospital bed, badly bruised.
It just feels unreal.
Nichols' family is demanding police body cam footage be released immediately.
We want justice. We want the officers to be charged with murder. We don't want them to just get fired.
And they've hired civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump to represent them.
Well, the family still don't have the answers. Nobody should die from a simple traffic stop.
It's not clear how many officers were involved, but the police chief says they also face an internal investigation regarding policy violations. The mayor adds the city is ready to take action based on those findings. Meanwhile, the family is planning a funeral. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
In Washington, House Republicans are asking for a list of who visited President Biden's Wilmington home, where 5 more pages more classified were discovered last week. The White House said in a statement that those logs do not exist and that the president's personal residence is personal. So far, roughly 20 classified documents have been found and returned to the National Archives. Presidents and vice presidents can take classified documents home, according to former CIA Director Michael Morrell.
They're cut slack because of who they are. And I think that's what has to end. Somebody needs to be put in charge of knowing what information has gone to the residents and making sure that that information comes back.
Now, under the Presidential Records Act, all government documents from an outgoing president or vice president must go to the National Archives. Well, police in Albuquerque, New Mexico say a Republican candidate who lost his bid for a state House seat in the November elections is the man behind a series of shootings at the homes of elected Democrats. Skylar Henry reports from Washington, D.C.
A SWAT team took 39-year-old Solomon Pena into custody in Albuquerque, New Mexico Monday. Police called him the mastermind behind a series of shootings targeting the homes of 4 local Democratic officials that began in December. Police say the former Republican candidate conspired with 4 men to commit the crimes.
Solomon Pena reached out and contracted someone for an amount of cash money to commit at least 2 of these shootings. The addresses of these shootings were communicated over phone.
Police say in one case, Pena went with the men to the home of a state senator and tried to use an AR handgun, but it malfunctioned. Pena has a criminal history. Lawmakers in New Mexico tried to bar him from running for the state house seat after he served prison time for burglary and larceny convictions. Investigators say Pena complained he felt the election was rigged, posting back in November that he stands with Trump and he never conceded his race. The Democratic mayor of Albuquerque called these shootings an example of radicalism.
They were dangerous attacks not only to these individuals, which is personally the most terrifying for them, but fundamentally also to democracy. That is why this is so terrible.
No one was hit in any of the shootings. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Now, in one case, several bullets passed through the bedroom of a state senator's 10-year-old daughter's room. Healthcare providers are still experiencing a shortage of nurses, which is driving busy times for Arkansas's 2 travel nurse companies. Travel Nurse Across America of Little Rock and TRS Healthcare of Taneytown are 2 companies that supplied nurses to hospitals and other entities across the country in need. Both say that while the COVID boom in nurses is subsiding, travel nurses are still earning more now than ever. Now, staffing industry analysts and industry consulting firm reported that staffing agencies across the country generated $39.2 billion in revenue in 2021, up nearly $22 billion from 2020. Right now, there are 15,000 job openings for travel nurses across the U.S. With concerns growing about the world's economy, climate change, the war in Ukraine, and poverty are all on the agenda at the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. Politicians, celebrities, and protesters are all making their voices heard in Switzerland. CBS' Tina Cross reports from London.
Ukraine's First Lady took the stage in the Swiss town of Davos Tuesday, pleading for global help to stop Russia's aggression, saying parents are in tears watching doctors trying to save their children. And she scolded government leaders and corporate executives for not using their influence to do enough to help countries struggling with food supplies, calling mass starvation in the 21st century an insult to mankind and human nature. Actor Idris Elba is using his star power to press the global elite to support the world's poorest countries with investment rather than aid to help fight poverty and protect the planet.
To the businesses, keep investing in mitigating climate change. We can define a different future.
U.S. climate envoy John Kerry says while time is running out for the world to tackle climate change, there's one thing that can make all the difference.
Money, 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 money.
Climate justice! On the sidelines of the summit, protesters are demanding the wealthy be held accountable for climate change and damage to the environment.
We demand a change in economy away from profit-based, more to economy that actually cares about people and the environment.
Those calls for change will echo through the Swiss Alps as corporate and political A-listers meet for several more days. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
And the theme of the week-long forum is cooperation in a fragmented world amid the war in Ukraine, soaring inflation, and potential climate catastrophes. Meanwhile, President Biden has a visit planned for storm-slammed California. After the break, a look at the damage from continuous rain and mudslides. Nathan?
Out there this afternoon, another taste of spring is in the air. Temperatures warming up with plenty of sun. Tomorrow, though, we're going to pay for it. Scattered showers and storms. Some storms could be strong to severe. More on those details coming up.